Hello, hello, my crafty people. These card designs have saved me hours of work when card making, and I hope they will be useful to you. These are the latest on a three-part video series that I've been sharing with you. I am going to show you in a minute pictures of the two previous videos that I made, and I'll have them linked down below in case you want to check them out. But I'll tell you, I made 20 cards in less than 10 days. That is a personal record for me, and I hope these ideas will be useful to you. So we will start with two panels, but again, we're starting with two panels just because I want a bit of color in the background, and I am not using a colorful card base. If you're using a colorful card base, you wouldn't need to do that. The way I cut them the same angle is I layer them up. So I hold the two panels together and do one cut. This one I'm cutting diagonally along the longer side. The last one from the past video, we cut it along the shorter side. And then we alternate the cuts. You could turn them around and have both of them facing the same direction. But as you know me by now, as you probably noticed, I do try to change them up a little bit. So I will do one of them in portrait orientation, the other one in landscape, so you can see the two options. But they're very quick and easy to create, especially if you are using a colorful card base, because then you would have to just cut that one panel and that will be it. The first one had a tiny difference in the size, so I'm going to trim it down in a minute. I'm just going to glue everything down first. And that one with the vellum, it's a vellum that I showed you on my previous probably one or two videos, and I just layered it on a fog piece of background panel just to give it a hint of color. I didn't want it plain white. I wanted it to be two shades of gray. No, it's not a reference to the books or the movies. Okay, so I'm just pressing it all down. Once I have it all down, I'm going to trim it down because then it's only one cut. The two of them were the same size. I checked before cutting it. So I'm just going to glue them down to the card bases. I am going to add a little bit of glue because the vellum, I didn't glue the whole vellum panel to the whole card base. I just added those tiny dots of glue. So it was lifting up a little bit, and I added a tiny bit of glue where the cut was done, because then it's going to be hidden under this thin strip of foil metallic cardstock that I'm going to use to cover the seam. I have done that in my past two videos as well. It's just a thin strip of paper, and I find that it kind of hides the seams, but it also kind of makes it look, I don't know, more finished. I guess it's the word in my mind. I think that if I left them like this, I wouldn't like them as much. That also gives me a little bit more of that pop of metallic, you know. So I just run a very thin line of glue. It could be along the seam, or like I'm doing here on the screen, along the strip of paper that I'm going to use. It doesn't matter. It could be either option, whatever you find easier for you. I do alternate between both. Sometimes I'll do one way and sometimes I'll do it the other. It really doesn't matter. And then I will trim the excess off. I always cut it from the back. And I'll do the same thing with the next one while this one dries. I try to use some weights just so I don't have to be holding it down until it dries, until the glue dries. That gives me the certainty that it's going to be properly in place. It's not going to lift up or wrinkle while I'm not looking. So I'm doing the same thing to the second card. Again, I do try to show you the first part in kind of normal speed, I guess. But then I start speeding up the video, especially the gluing bits, because you don't need to see me, spend 5 minutes adding glue to a panel. Like now. I know it looks like I'm adding an obscene amount of glue. I promise you I'm not. It's because of the fine tip. There's actually just a little bit of glue coming out, and I always want to spread it all around to make sure that it's even, if that makes sense. So it's the same recipe that we used in the previous two videos. You're going to need either a good size of a sentiment. Here I'll show you both, or a good size element. In one of my cards, I'm using a die cut element. The first one, I have that star, and then I just added a happy holiday sentiment on the bottom. And the second one, I'm actually adding a sentiment. It's like a decent size. This is an older die set from Pink Fresh Studios. I'm going to have it listed in my supply list if you want to check them out, but use what you have in your stash. This is I have a nephew and his name is Nicholas. So my mother-in-law asked me to make him a birthday card, and I'm taking advantage of the card ideas I already had. I just sprinkled some leaves, some fall leaves, because his birthday is now, and a happy birthday, and that's it. Now, these panels, I showed them to you on the previous video, and this is what I had left. I'm going to cut two pieces out of this one left over. So if it was a regular size, you would just cut it in half, which is what we did on the very first set of cards, the previous video, right? We just cut it in half along the shorter side. And I am going to mat them with gold metallic cardstock just because I want a fine border around, and I don't have my Versamark pen here with me. If I did have my Versamark pen, I would just run it along the edge, add some embossing powder, and heat it up. I wouldn't be using my metallic cardstock. That's how I usually do it. It really works. It looks very nice the same way, and I kind of save a metallic cardstock. I don't know why, folks. That's just how my mind rolls. But here we are. This is another option, so it means that you have two different options if you have the Versamark pen. And then I'm just going to add some strips of gold cardstock in different ways. So I have satin gold cardstock, I have metallic gold cardstock, and I'll add a few strips, different lengths, just to kind of extend that element, that pop of color down along my card base where I have nothing. You can probably notice by now that I've been using dry adhesive to glue down my mixed media panels. When you use watercolors and you use a lot of water, like I did on my mixed media panels here, they do warp a little bit, and that dry adhesive helps to flatten it. And also, I am gluing it on mirrored cardstock, so that helps. It makes it way easier to get better adhesion and also to flatten my original panel. You can also see that I am cutting those strips of gold cardstock kind of slanted, a little bit diagonal, just to add a bit of interest. I thought that if I left them straight, it would be a bit bland, I guess. Not that interesting. I find that cutting them in an angle makes it look, well, it just add a bit more detail to it. Here you could emboss that panel, and I did add a pearlized white cardstock panel to one of my cards. You'll be able to see better at the end when I show you up close. But just because I wanted something, I thought it was way too plain. I like a little bit of detail, but not too much. And I am hiding the tiny pieces that I had left. I'm adding them also. I'm using everything of those gold strips. That's what I'm saying. Uh, e- if you have at home like an embossing folder that has just tiny dots, that would be lovely. Or if you want to stamp some dots with just Versamark on your background, things like that. It's just a tiny bit of detail. I think it adds so much interest. This one you can see is the plain card base, and this one has the pearlized one. I added a sentiment, good size sentiment. That's it. And one of them I added the star from my first card. And here's the bonus card, right? One of them. I had this full panel left. Instead of cutting it in half and making the two previous cards like I should, I decided to show you that you also can do all of these ideas that I'm sharing with you. Most of them will have the possibility of you using the negative version. So instead of adding one panel full of color and detail to your card, you could actually add the color and detail to the background and add a plain white or a single color panel to your background, to your colorful background, and then add just a stamp and maybe an element to it. This one, I'm adding a stamp and hiding it with the window die cut. I love the window, and I think it's kind of a different way to present your sentiment. It will be hidden, mostly hidden behind it. I did use vellum to kind of cover the spaces in the window, and I mounted it on just fun foam. I die cut once the same die cut from fun foam, and I glued it behind it, and I sandwiched the vellum in between. And now you can actually open the window and see your sentiment. I had these two strips left as well from my mixed media backgrounds, and I'm just gonna glue them. You can see that I play around with the other pieces of leftover, see if I can add them as well. But I decided to actually add the vellum to the background, the vellum with the foil with a bit of detail. Just add those two strips, each one coming from one side. I am also going to add one of my very thin metallic cardstock strips right in the center. A sentiment, that's it. The card is ready. So this is a form that you could use full backgrounds that are interesting to you. You could just add a white panel to them. Or if you have some small pieces of a background that you love left over, you can use like this one option and add two strips, one coming from each side, a sentiment, a little bit of detail in the background. That's it. It looks interesting. It's very colorful. All of them can be used to all occasions, all year round. Just change your elements and your sentiments accordingly. They will look very nice. It's very quick and easy to make. You don't have to waste that much time thinking about it. So, with these two cards, and plus the six that I showed you in the past three videos, it adds up to 20. That is a lot for me. So now I have a good stash here. I'm staying at my mother in law for a while. I think I told you that before. And the next video, folks, if you're watching this, the next video, I'm going to do my giveaway to celebrate reaching 2,000 followers. I'm actually still in awe. YouTube has been showing me that I'm getting subscribers, but then every week I lose the same subscribers again. It's been like that all year long so far. So I was actually a bit cautious announcing my 2,000 subscribers because I thought they were going to go down. I thought for sure the numbers were going to go down, but they keep going up. I am so happy. I really don't understand the algorithm. I watch so many videos and I do so much research, but absolutely, it's a huge mystery to me. I don't understand this, but I am so, so happy. Just know that behind the scenes, where when you're not watching, every time I see that I got one more subscriber, I just feel so thankful and I make a quick prayer and I thank God and I thank all of you for being here. It's so nice having crafty friends. Um, Feel free to leave me a comment if you have any requests or any questions, okay? For my last design idea, I am using this striped foiled panel, and I drew on the back a rectangle. If you have a die and a die cutting machine, just choose a die, any die that you want. It doesn't need to be rectangular. It could be any shape that you want, right? Just make sure that you die cut it right from the center. I just want to show that if you don't have a die, you could still recreate this card just using a rectangle. Draw a rectangle on the back, use a ruler, a metal ruler, and a craft knife, and you can slowly but surely cut the rectangle out. I'm very careful around the corners to make sure that I don't go past the line that I drew. And then you're gonna have a rectangle, a solid rectangle, and a rectangular frame. And then you can mount each one onto a card base. Just add a sentiment. I added a huge sentiment to these ones to fill out the space. And that's it. I didn't add anything else. It just goes back to my idea of using three elements. So you have your card base, you have your panel piece, and you have your sentiment. That's it. You don't need anything else. And they still look very nice and very interesting. I think you let me know what you find. On my last video, I had someone asking me not to tilt the cards when I show them. Um, I try to always do that because, like the metallic, the shine, the glitter, you can actually really only see it well on the light, like in the light, and you have to tilt it to a certain angle for them to show properly. But I will try to take pictures, close up pictures, and show them instead. I hope that helps. Sorry, this one I had already the footage done, so I couldn't change it before, but I will try for my next videos. I would love your feedback. And also, my husband said that I'm weird because I said at the end of my last video that I love you all. But I really do, and I'm okay with being weird. I hope these ideas were useful to you. Go out and create something beautiful today. Happy crafting. Bye.